Welcome to our discussion on education that cannot wait in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. As we are all aware, schools are closed, but education has to still continue. And to help us shed more light on that as to how education is going on is our guest here today. Welcome, and please help us understand, who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Florence Chanya. I'm the principal of Adventist Hill Primary School.
Do you have any family?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so much more about my family. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me begin from who I am now properly in a better way. As I have earlier said, my name is Florence Chanya. I'm a professional teacher. So I trained as a teacher and I love teaching. Apart from being a teacher, I'm also a mother. I am married. I have 3 lovely children, young adults, 2 girls and 1 boy. And I'm also an active member of Karingata Seventh-day Adventist Church, where I serve in different capacities.
Thank you, Florence. Now, tell me something about the school that you mentioned that you're the principal of.
Okay. I head Adventist Hill Primary School. It is a school within the East Central Africa Division. It is a church school. It is also run and managed by the East Central Africa Division. Much more about it is that it is found in Kajiado County, in the region of the Rift Valley, when we come to the divisions of how the Kenya as a nation is divided. It is found within, that is along Magadi Road, on your way to, between Kiserian and Rongai, next to Arap Moi Primary School. That is where you will find Adventist Hill Primary School.
Thank you. How long have you worked at this school?
Oh, I'm counting 9 years and a few months, so close to 10 years.
Wow, that's good time.
It's a while.
So what is your student enrollment in the school?
The Lord has been so good. That is one thing I can mention for sure. Being a church school and with an enrollment of 477 children, it's not a small number.
Okay, so Advent Hill is a primary school.
Yes.
What grades do you find in your school?
Okay, we have the play group. These are the little toddlers, about 3 years old, and it goes up to class 8. Class 8 is our final grade. We call them the candidates.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Looking at staffing, how many people does the school employ?
Since it's a big school, we have a total number of 38 staff, 24 teaching staff, and the rest are support staff. And the Lord has been very gracious that He has given me a very dedicated staff. That is one thing for sure I need to mention. And it is also a staff that has grown. I've seen them grow over the years. You know, I remember a good number of them began as certificate teachers. They have grown to diploma, they've grown to graduate teachers.
Wow.
And there are some who have developed and they have done their master's program.
Wow.
So I have a very good team that supports me.
That's inspiring.
Very.
You mentioned that Advent Hill is an Adventist primary school.
Yes.
How do you implement the Adventist philosophy of education in the school?
It is important truly to understand what Adventist philosophy of education is. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, anytime I think about Adventist philosophy of education, I think of an all-round growth of a child. That is academically, that is intellectually, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and socially. And as an institution, the Lord has been good. Because one, we have the spiritual activities. We have a teacher who is in charge of the spiritual activities in school. And as a result, we have Bible programs, we have Pathfinder programs, and anytime I remember about the Pathfinders, it clicks in my mind that last year we were able to take a good number to Oshkosh.
Wow.
You know, it's really exciting. So we also have some of our children getting baptized into our faith. So as far as spiritual aspect is, we are trying, we are not yet there, but I would say we are trying and we are implementing to the level to which the Lord has blessed us. Academically, Adventist is one of the best Adventist schools so far. So we not only impart the intellectual, but we also impart the spiritual aspect. And this is through the very supportive staff that we have. When it comes to the social aspect, our schools runs a variety of activities. That is, apart from, you see, we have the spiritual, academic, and we have the co-curricular. The co-curricular includes the sports activities, games, music, and it will surprise you that for about 3 consecutive years, as far as the Kenya Music Festival is concerned, we have been the giants. So we have the trophies with us for 3 or 4 consecutive years. So socially we are doing well, and emotionally our teachers, our staff are very supportive to our children, because as children walk in school, they are teachers to receive them. And sometimes you find a child walking in, but that child is not happy. The teachers take this opportunity to share with the student to find out what the problem could be. And they take this moment to share and encourage these children. There are times we are forced to call parents to come to school that early morning. So this is one area I would say we are implementing the Adventist philosophy of education.
Wow, that's lovely. It's good to hear you're doing well in the music arena too. Now, looking at the situation with the COVID-19 pandemic, schools have been closed. How are you handling your programs? How are you teaching? Is there anything going on for the students?
I would say it's a hard time. It's a very, very hard time, and we are trying. We are not perfect. We are not yet there, but we are trying. What we are doing at the moment is that we are teaching our children using the online programs, but the online programs cannot replace a teacher in class. What we're able to do is to give assignments. Children do. We post them through the different media forums. Children do the assignments. They return to the teacher. We check on what they are doing. When these children, possibly you realize there is a child who has not got a concept right, you call and you're able to guide this child on a one-to-one. We are trying. We are not yet there. And we are still trying other means which we are able to reach our children in a classroom setup. And possibly in the next maybe 1 week or so, we will be able to have a classroom atmosphere, especially for the candidates, so that we can teach them on a one-to-one. But I would say at the moment, we are trying, but it is hard.
So when you say candidates, what do you mean by candidates?
The candidates, I am referring to the current Standard 8 children. Those are our candidates for the year 2019. And at the end of the year, they are expected to sit for a national exam, which in our common language, we call it KCPE. KCPE stands for Kenya Certificate of Primary Education. Yeah.
Thank you. Looking at what you're doing now, what can other Adventist schools learn from Advent here about how to handle classes during this pandemic?
I would like to encourage them to be in contact with their children. Being in contact means we have different medias, different forums which can be used. One, they could use the Google Classroom, which we are currently using. The Google Classroom, you are able to post assignments, children do, and they post back. They could use the video, which we are also using. The teacher demonstrates the teaching and posts a video. Children are able to observe that and do the assignment given thereafter. We are also posting some assignments in different WhatsApp groups. So children are able to do and give the teacher a feedback. But one big challenge that we experience is that you may find one parent has 3 or 4 children. Using the same gadget is a problem. And that is why we find when we give assignments and children are able to copy that assignment and they do at different times is a little bit easy. So for schools which are learning from us, I would encourage the posting of assignments, not necessarily sitting with a laptop to do the work, so that children can use the textbooks. Because bearing in mind, when young children are in the media throughout, it's very fast. It may also affect their learning. Yeah.
Wow, I'm a parent myself of children that have to do school through these gadgets, and it can be a challenge. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for that. What do you think would be the long-term impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on your school, on the children, and the whole program that you had planned for the year?
Mm-hmm. One, there is a culture that we have as a school, a very friendly culture. We socialize with our children. Mm-hmm. But you see, that has been affected already because we have been guided to keep a social distance, which initially we didn't have. A child would come from school, from home, and hug a teacher. That one will no longer be there. Earlier on, I said we welcome our children. We stand and we greet them as they walk in. So possibly, as much as we will be standing there, we will not be greeting them. We will either find another mode of greeting, maybe putting our hands together or just waving as they come in, putting the social distance. Secondly, the great impact that will be there is that being a church school and a private school, we depend on fees from parents. And it is all over in the media that there are parents who have lost jobs. And it's a very hard situation because if a parent has lost a job, the chances of bringing that child back to a private school is hard. Chances of paying fees is also hard, so we are likely possibly to lose some children. Mm-hmm. We continue praying that our children and our parents are safe despite what is happening. There is an impact also on the term calendars. The normal school calendar has been affected. But we are following up on what the Ministry of Education will guide us because we closed school in term 1. This is term 2 ongoing, but schools have not opened. That one will affect the syllabus coverage, will affect the setting of exam, if at all our children are going to sit for exam at the end of the year. So these are some of the impacts we expect to find as COVID-19 is ongoing.
Those are major impacts, major changes in the system altogether. Mm. You mentioned that there are some students who may not come back because maybe their parents have lost income. Why do parents bring their children to Adventist primary school as opposed to public school? What is different that they follow at the school?
Okay. Parents love Adventist education. And we have mixed groups. We have Adventist children and non-Adventist children. When parents bring their children to school, one thing they tell us is that I have brought my child because this is a Christian school. And as we receive them, we assure these parents, you have given me your child and I'll do all my level best to not only give you academic, but I'll also give you character. So in this child, the child will do well. In this child, we will develop discipline. We will develop integrity. we will develop trustworthiness. So as a result, when these children go out, they are admired far and wide. And this is one of the key reasons that many parents bring their children to Adventist school. Yeah.
Wow. Now, looking at our situation right now, what would you say are future plans or your vision for the school, looking at these impacts that have destabilized your programs? What plans, what vision do you have for Adventist Primary School?
Okay, one is that this will affect the number of children in a class. Because if we've been having 30, 35 children in a class, the issue of distancing has come in. So I would like to work together with my board so that we are able to expand our facilities, so that in each class we can have a small number, maintaining the distance that we have been guided to keep. We will also need to expand our transport means, because when we talk of distancing, it's not only in class, yeah? It is also in the transport when we carry our children from home to school and taking them back. So we need to add means of transport. We have limited buses, school vans, which are not enough. So with this problem coming in, it is a reason that we need to do something about it. It has been our desire as a school to have a swimming pool. The swimming pool helps our children to learn how to swim. They develop a skill, but more often we have to go out. But with this problem, then I would plan that we have a swimming pool in the compound so that we know how many children are getting into the swimming pool. It is also my hope and desire that our staff will continue to grow, so that with the new changes coming, we are able to embrace them and implement, because we will need counseling. So our teachers some of them have to really do counseling so that they're able to counsel these children. Among other things that we may be guided to do. Yeah, we are ready to follow.
Wow. I really like the idea of having your own swimming pool. There are hygiene issues for sure that you need to manage and monitor. Now, do you have any message of hope and encouragement to your students, to the parents, and to everyone out there?
It's a difficult time. Sometimes we feel we want to despair. There is a lot of anxiety. But even in this, there's something that encourages me. The book of Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And verse 4 says, even if I walk through the valley of death, I will fear no evil, because you're with me and your hand holds me. So I would like to tell our parents who are out there, be encouraged that the Lord is with us despite the problem that we are going through. I know being with children, it's not easy. I'll also ask you to understand these children and bear with them. We miss them a lot because we're used to them. We're used to running up and about with them. But this time around, they have to be in the house. They may not understand what it means to be in the house. Understand them and repeat it over and over again. And once you repeat it, it sticks in their mind and they're able to understand what they're supposed to do. That is my encouragement to our children and to our parents back at home. The Lord is in control.
Thank you so much for shedding light on what you are doing to make sure the students receive education and to deal with the challenges that COVID-19 has brought to us. Thank you so much for joining us, and we thank our guests for shedding light on the challenges and the experiences of this novel situation that we've never experienced before. Thank you.
Kando ya mto Babeli tuliketi tukikumbuka mambo yale tuloyapitia nchi ya utumwa. Tumeyaacha nyuma, sasa tuko huru. Tumeyaacha nyuma, sasa tuko huru. Kando ya mto Babeli tuliketi tukikumbuka mambo yale tuloyapitia nchi ya utumwa. Tumeyaacha nyuma, sasa tuko huru. Tumeyaacha nyuma, sasa tuko huru. Tungeimbaje wimbo wa shukrani kule nchi ya utumwa? Sasa tuko huru, tuimbe. Tungeimbaje wimbo wa shukrani kule nchi ya utumwa? Sasa tuko huru, tuimbe. Siwezi kukusahau wewe, mji wangu Yerusalemi. Yale niliyoyapata kwako, neema yake Mungu, na yafurahia pia nashukuru. Na yafurahia pia nashukuru. Siwezi kukusahau wewe, mji wangu Yerusalemi. Yale niliyoyapata kwako, neema yake Mungu, na yafurahia pia nashukuru. Na yafurahia pia nashukuru. Tungeimbaje wimbo wa shukrani kule nchi ya utumwa? Sasa tuko huru, tuimbe. Tungeimbaje wimbo wa shukrani kule nchi ya utumwa? Sasa tuko huru, tuimbe. Tungeimbaje wimbo wa shukrani kule nchi ya utumwa? Sasa tuko huru, tuimbe. Tungeimbaje wimbo wa shukrani kule nchi ya utumwa? Sasa tuko huru, tuimbe. Tungeimbaje wimbo wa shukrani kule nchi ya utumwa? Sasa tuko huru, tuimbe.
Wokovu bure, wokovu bure, wokovu bure. Wokovu wa bure sote tumepewa, hakuna ambaye ametoa kuweza pata ule pale msalabani alikufa ili sote tuwe huru, tuweze pata bure sote kwa pamoja, na tuinue sauti zetu juu, na tulisifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Sifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Msamaha wa bure Yesu anatoa, hakuna ambaye anapaswa kuulipia tena. Jukumu letu sisi ni kukiri na kutubu dhambi zetu, tuweze pata bure sote kwa pamoja, na tuinue sauti zetu juu, na tulisifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Sifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Na tulisifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Sifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Sote kwa pamoja, na tuinue sauti zetu juu, na tulisifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Sifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Tulisifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo. Sifu jina la Bwana, sifu jina la Bwana. Anastahili sifa Mwana-Kondoo.